Hi, my name's Phil Gardner and welcome to Fun with Boxes. Today I'm thrilled to be looking at the brand new latest edition of C3i Magazine, number 37, published by RBM Studio. And what an absolutely cracking issue this is. I must admit that getting the latest issue of C3i Magazine is one of the highlights of my gaming year. This, as I've said before, is in my opinion one of the finest board gaming magazines you can get your hands on. Its focus is on the wargaming side of the hobby and is absolutely rammed with superbly written articles from historical content to interviews and game analysis and design. Not only that, but each issue comes with a full game for you to play, with all the maps, counters and rules you need. It even includes cards if they are part of the game. But this year, for issue 37, RBM Studio have not just provided one full game. Oh no, they've not even provided two games. Instead, there are 3 games included in this bumper-packed issue. Absolutely amazing. Let's take a Fun with Boxes look at what you get with the latest issue of the rather wonderful and I think essential C3i Magazine. Okay, so C3i Magazine issue 37 starts off with its traditional From the Editor's Desk article by Steve McGowan, where Steve brings us up to date with all things C3i and RBM Studio, along with some news of the next RBM Studio Deluxe edition. But for me, the takeaway piece from this introduction to the magazine is the fact that the book Rodger has been working on for some time now is expected to be ready at some point this year, and this is very exciting to me. It will be called The Art of Rodger B. McGowan, and I simply cannot wait to get hold of a copy of his book. Rodger is, for those that may not know, a prolific artist, games developer, director and magazine publisher who has been working in the world of board games since the 1970s. And I have been enjoying his work since the very early 80s, so for me, I am really looking forward to his book. Kicking off the issue is the 14th installment of Mark Herman's Cleo's Corner, the Battle of Midway, or the Good, the Bad and the Ugly, where Mark discusses his design of historical simulations expressing history through war games. Here he focuses on the Battle of Midway using this quote from the co-founder of Game Design Workshop, Frank Chadwick, as a theme. A simulation is a detailed argument by the designer as to the cause of an outcome. Mark's articles are detailed and fascinating to read, and I was thrilled to see that he may be working on a book that he is assembling from all the columns he has written and continues to write for C3i Magazine. Exciting stuff. Next we have another continuing installment, this time the propaganda round, number 5. Denial and Deception in Wargames by the wonderful Volko Runny. This is a very detailed article about denial and deception game mechanics, or hidden information as it were. And in this article you will see some references to non-war gaming board games such as The Fury of Dracula, Star Wars Rebellion and Black Sonata. Really interesting stuff. Next up, we have an in-depth article on Mark Herman's new thoughts on Allied opening strategy for his magnificent game Empire of the Sun. This is followed by a look at A Little Old Watchmaker, how James F. Dunnigan changed the wargame industry, part 1 by Andy Newers. I really enjoyed this article, all about James and his creation of SPI Games, and about the evolution of Strategy and Tactics magazine. SPI Games holds a very special place in my heart, as I spent many hours in a game shop in Cardiff called FC Parker, staring at an array of fascinating game box covers, all with the SPI logo on them. Some I even bought and still have today. In fact, here's one now. And also, here's another rather beat up copy too. In the center of the magazine is an article about the Steam implementation for PC for Mark Herman's superb entry-level war game Gettysburg. I have covered the physical game on a previous Fun with Boxes episode, but this is the electronic version you can play on your computer. It looks really great, but unfortunately it's not available for Mac at the time of me recording this, so I guess I will have to stick to my physical copy just for the time being. The article is all about the development of the game and is a very interesting read. And the next article is all about one of the 3 games included in the magazine, and that is The Spanish Road Designer Notes by Daniel Hernandez Iniesta. A game I'm looking forward to taking a look at. Following that, we have a C3i Magazine game variant for Red Flag Over Paris by Fred Serval. Then we have an article by Twilight Struggle designer Jason Matthews called Twilight Struggle, the Cold War Movies, along with a top 10 list of Cold War movies to help set the mood for a Cold War conflict game. I really enjoyed this article, plus there are some fun variant cards included in the inserts just for Twilight Struggle. Next up, we have a C3i Renaissance Battle scenario article for SPQR Deluxe that is included in the magazine, both standard and simple GBOH rules. Following that, Trevor Bender provides us with a what-if campaign for the deluxe 5th edition of the Russian campaign called Total Barbarossa, which includes a short article on playing the game Solitaire and an article about German infantry versus the Russian army. Then we have an interview with Ted Collar by Sam Seek, where Ted talks about working for SPI and Victory Games. Again, another very interesting interview because of my fondness for SPI games. But I always find the interviews in C3i Magazine fascinating, regardless of whether I am aware of the people being interviewed or not. These are one of my favourite parts of the magazine. Finishing off, we have a playthrough of Desert Victory, North Africa 1940 to 1942 by Mario Feina, which includes some notes from designer Trevor Bender. Okay, so that's the magazine. Let's take a look at what inserts come with it. First, we have the counter sheet for all the counters for the included 3 games, along with the alternative counters for Mark Herman's Gettysburg game that are based on the style of counters used for the upcoming Rebel Fury game, which may well be already available in the US, but I am still waiting to get hold of a copy here in the UK. Can't wait to try that one out. Next, we have a set of James Bond themed variant cards for Twilight Struggle for when you play with your spouse or partner or significant other. Then we have some aids for the SPQR Deluxe and simple GBOH scenario, and cards and play aids for the variant rules for Red Flag Over Paris. And now we move on to the rest of the inserts, which are the 3 included games. First up, a solo game called The Spanish War, with its 8-page rulebook and fold-out map sheet. Next, we have the Drive on Metz 1944 game, with its 8-page rulesbook and map sheet. And finally, the Beatis campaign 211 BC, with its 24-page rulebook, which includes historical notes and designer notes, along with its map sheet and 2 player aids. Wow, that's a ton of stuff. I absolutely love and look forward to C3i Magazine coming out each year. And this latest issue, issue number 37, delivers on all levels for me. The quality of the articles and magazine overall is just top notch. Add to that 3 full board games and a bunch of other stuff like variants for other games, and what is not to like? Simply fantastic, and I would highly recommend anyone into the wargaming side of the board game hobby to pick up a copy. You will not be disappointed. So that's 2 massive Fun with Boxes thumbs up from a rather excited me. I do hope you enjoyed this video. Please do consider hitting the old like button, and really importantly, that subscribe button too. That would be really great for the channel and really help me to make it grow. At the moment, only 10% of Fun with Boxes viewers are actually subscribed. So if you could subscribe today too, that would be great. As always, thanks so much for watching. Please take care and bye for now.